She was a lawyer. A solicitor with a quiet life in Cheshire, England. Within 14 months, both of her baby sons were dead. And a courtroom would decide that the only possible explanation was that their own mother had killed them. The case against her did not rest on a weapon, a witness, or a confession. It rested on a number. 1 in 73 million. A single statistic, spoken by a respected doctor, that would send an innocent woman to prison and shake the foundations of forensic science. Decades, courts have treated numbers as the purest form of proof. A fingerprint can be misread. A memory can fail. But a probability feels objective, mathematical, beyond doubt. This is the story of what happens when the math itself is wrong. 1996. Sally Clark and her husband, both solicitors, welcome their first son, Christopher. He is 11 weeks old when Sally finds him lifeless one evening. Doctors record the death as natural, likely a respiratory infection. A family destroyed by tragedy. Try again. In November 1997, a second son, Harry, is born, weeks premature. The couple watch over him with the fear only bereaved parents know. For 8 weeks, he thrives. Then, one January evening, Harry stops breathing too. 2 babies. 2 sudden deaths. In most of human history, this would be understood as one of nature's cruelest coincidences. Sudden infant death syndrome, cot death, still kills without warning and without explanation. But suspicion had already begun to grow. Weeks after Harry's death, the police arrive. Both parents are arrested. The charges against the husband are dropped. But Sally Clark is charged with the murder of both of her sons, smothered, the prosecution claims, by the very hands that had held them. Prosecution's star witness is Sir Roy Meadow, one of the most famous paediatricians in Britain. He is known for a chilling rule of thumb that bears his name. 1 cot death is a tragedy. 2 is suspicious. 3 is murder, until proven otherwise. On the stand, Meadow delivers the number that defines the trial. The chance of 2 cot deaths in a family like the Clarks, he says, is 1 in 73 million. To the jury, it sounds like near certainty. Nature does not fail twice. Someone must be guilty. But the number was built on a broken foundation. Meadow took the odds of a single cot death, about 1 in 8,500, and simply multiplied it by itself. 1 in 8,500, times 1 in 8,500, gives 1 in 73 million. Multiplication only works if the 2 deaths are completely independent, like 2 separate coin flips. But siblings share genes, environment, and unknown vulnerabilities. If 1 cot death happens in a family, a second becomes far more likely, not less. The core assumption was simply false. There was a second, deeper error, one so common it has a name, the prosecutor's fallacy. The jury heard 1 in 73 million and believed it was the chance that Sally was innocent. It was not. It was something entirely different, and the confusion would cost her everything. November 1999. The jury convicts, 10 votes to 2. Sally Clark, a solicitor who had never committed a crime in her life, is sentenced to life imprisonment. The headlines brand her a child killer. The number had done its work. Prison is its own kind of hell for someone convicted of killing children. She is abused by other inmates. She grieves 2 dead sons while being called their murderer. And outside, almost no one questions the mathematics that put her there. Almost no one. Mathematicians spoke. In 2001, the Royal Statistical Society took the extraordinary step of issuing a public statement. The 1 in 73 million figure, they said, had no statistical basis. It was wrong, and its use in court was profoundly dangerous. The first appeal, in 2000, had already failed. The courts were not yet ready to admit that a celebrated expert could be so completely mistaken. But her husband, Stephen, refused to stop. He combed through the evidence, and he found something the jury had never seen. In the files was a set of microbiology reports on baby Harry. They showed a bacterial infection, Staphylococcus aureus, present in his body, in his blood, in his spinal fluid. An infection that can kill an infant. Evidence pointing away from murder entirely. The pathologist who had examined Harry, Alan Williams, had these reports. And he never disclosed them to the defense. The jury that convicted Sally Clark never knew that the second baby may have died of natural causes, from an infection no mother could have prevented. January 2003. Sally Clark's second appeal reaches the Royal Courts of Justice. This time the judges listen. They rule that the withheld medical evidence, combined with the deeply flawed statistics, makes the conviction unsafe. After more than 3 years, it is over. Walks free. But freedom is not the same as restoration. She has lost 2 children, 3 years of her life, and her name in every newspaper in the country. The woman who leaves prison is not the woman who entered it. Reckoning for the expert. The General Medical Council examines Roy Meadow's testimony and strikes him from the medical register for serious professional misconduct. A later court appeal would restore his registration, but the damage to his authority is permanent. And the case forces the law itself to change. Britain reviews hundreds of similar convictions built on Meadow's theories. Other mothers, imprisoned on the same reasoning, have their cases reopened. The idea that 2 infant deaths equals murder collapses under scrutiny. This lesson is about the number itself. A statistic in a courtroom is not neutral. Presented by an authority, in a white coat, it can overwhelm a jury's judgment and drown out every other fact. Certainty, wrongly calculated, is more dangerous than doubt. Sally Clark, the verdict came too late to heal her. She never recovered from the loss of her sons and the years branded a murderer. She developed a dependence on alcohol. In March 2007, she was found dead at home, from acute alcohol poisoning. She was 42. Been innocent all along. Innocent when her babies died. Innocent when the jury convicted her. Innocent when she walked free, and innocent when she died, 4 years later, unable to escape what the number had done to her life. Evidence was a number. The number was certain. And the number was wrong. 2 babies died of causes no court ever truly explained, and their mother paid for it twice. This has been Verdict Files. If this story stayed with you, subscribe. The next file is already open.